Good morrow, scholars. Welcome back to Asylum. Um, Sorry for some late uploads. I mentioned it in the last video. Uh, I got a really late start because the night before I couldn't fall asleep until about 2:30, and then when I woke up, I was just feeling so sick. I'm feeling a lot better now. I think what happened was I took my mom Pokemon Going, and we walked a lot farther than we meant to. Mostly because, never mind, that's not the point. Anyway, so by the time we got back, we were really tired, and it was past 8 o'clock at night when we got home. So yeah, that kind of threw everybody for a loop. Don't let me forget to mention plans. I mean, I don't know why I'm asking you to remind me, considering you won't see this until after I've already uploaded. Anyway, we are in chapter 24, page 199. Man, Felix was not in the room when Dan got there. Still being questioned by police, Dan thought. He was just wondering if they'd let Felix come back that night at all when the door opened and Felix walked in. He immediately went to his bed, curled up on it, and hugged his knees to his chest. He was still wearing a t-shirt and running shorts. He looked vulnerable and scared. Oh heavens. Felix, I'm really sorry, Dan said. Nobody should have to see something like that. On the bed, Felix, there we go, was shaking, rattling the whole bed frame. Do you want to talk about it? Felix shook his head. It looked like if he opened his mouth, he would start crying. If you need to talk or anything, you know where to find me. Anytime. Felix didn't respond. In a fog, Dan went through the motions of brushing his teeth and getting ready for bed. A police officer patrolled the hallway. His hand was on his holster. It made Dan walk very carefully down the hall. Back in the room, Felix had, surprisingly, fallen asleep. Sorry. Dan turned off the light and got into bed in the clothes he was wearing. He didn't want to risk waking Felix by changing. Besides, it wasn't like he would be able to sleep anyway. As he lay down, he heard a crunching sound. He reached out into the pouch of his hoodie and pulled out a few sheets of paper. He had no idea how they got there. Dimly, he remembered seeing a set of cabinets in the operating amphitheater, but he had passed out with that vision before reaching them. Was this another memory gap? Weird, though, because he really couldn't remember even making it across the room. He had an odd thought. What if Abby had put them in his pocket while he was still unconscious? He knew that there had been papers on the ground when he came to. Did she read them and already know about Lucy? But surely she would have said something if she did, and he couldn't think of any reason why she would have put the papers in his pocket. There was enough light coming through the window that Dan didn't need to switch on his bedside lamp. Oh, that reminds me. There's supposed to be a supermoon tonight? Or tomorrow? A hunter's moon? So, keep an eye out for that. Anyway, where was I? He smoothed the purple papers on his pillow. They were the same kind of memos he had already seen. Dan reached the last piece of paper, and the handwriting jumped out at him. The warden. A flash of inspiration this morning over breakfast. There is, I think, a way in which my ideas can live on forever. All men seek immortality in their own way, either through a legacy of children carrying their name and genetic material, through architecture, through science, and this now is simply my search for a legacy like no other. Oh no. The work will be grisly, true. I've no doubt about that. Yet Michelangelo had his secret cadavers, and so too must I, an artist of a different sort, risk and sacrifice. Ugh. Okay, now my mom is a teacher, and I used to grade her papers for her all the time because I liked helping. I would have a hard time making out what is being said here, so good on him. Anyway, where was it? So the warden had been performing grisly sacrifices on his patients in order to create a legacy for his name. Dan thought back to the index cards they'd looked at in the warden's office. So many of them with Anne under the recovered box. How many operations had failed? What if recovered doesn't mean like cured? What if it means like they never recovered the bodies? How many patients have been needlessly subjected to pain and terror, all for the sake of the warden searching for a kind of immortality? Dan kept reading. I always hated that word, sacrifice. It conjures images of savages beating drums around a fire, but sacrifices there must be, and how dear, and how dangerous. That was the end of the entry. But there was more writing on the back, in the warden's now familiar handwriting, and at the bottom, a signature. 2 words. Daniel Crawford. Is he cloning himself? Chapter 25. The police found the man who'd killed Joe the wallet in a garage. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce that word. The director held a meeting in Wilford Commons to tell the student body that they were safe now, but that if any of them wanted to go home, they would get a full refund. Classes would resume the next day. There would be counselors standing by if students needed to talk to someone. Dan found Abby and asked her if she wanted to go for a walk. The yard outside Wilford lacked its usual mob of kids playing frisbee or lawn bowling. Everyone on campus was in a somber mood. They decided to get away from the campus for a while. So they took a path that led to the forest. As soon as they had gone a couple of yards, the air got cooler and the light dimmer from the up ahead. That's weird. I wonder if you guys can hear that. Oh well. What was that? And dimmer from the riot of trees arching over them. How is Felix holding up? Abby said after a while. Dan shrugged. He didn't really know. He wasn't there when I woke up, and I didn't see him in the commons. Maybe he's seeing one of the counselors. How about you? Feel okay? Abby slipped her hand into his. Yeah? Damn right. Tell her. Tell her everything. Stop holding everything in. But really, how could he tell her? Hey, so it turns out that there was this one warden behind all the horrible stuff. Oh, and guess what? We have the same name. Oh, and I've been having these dreams like I'm seeing through his eyes. No biggie. At least Dan finally knew why Selweathers and his wife had gotten so angry when he told them his name. Jordan's not answering his phone, Abby said, interrupting his thoughts. The pine needles crunched under their feet. I texted him last night when I got to my room, and again this morning. I assume he heard the news that they found the guy, although I'm not sure he's left his room. I got one replying, busy with homework. I don't get why he's being so strange. So unlike the kid I met on the bus. Maybe he needs to be alone for a while. I mean, he saw the body. Yeah. Maybe, but I keep thinking about what you said about us watching out for him. I'm just worried, you know? I'm worried, she said. I'll try him again later. Can't hurt to try, right? Dan didn't see her for the rest of the day. Oh, that's it. Back in his room, he found himself staring at the wall, his thoughts in a jumble. When his phone rang in his pocket, he nearly jumped out of his skin. Chill out, Dan. It's just your parents. He picked up the phone already knowing what was coming. Uh-oh. What was her voice? I forgot. Dang it. Oh, Daddy, we just got off the phone with your program director who tells us that a boy had been killed right in front of your very dorm. What is going on? Do you need us to... His mother's voice came out in a panicked rush. He jumped to interrupt her. Hey, listen, they caught the guy, okay? He realized he was almost shouting and lowered his voice. I'm fine. We're all safe now. They've got counselors and stuff, and they caught the guy who did it. The director said they had a suspect in custody, she said shrilly. He didn't sound nearly as sure as you do. Dan had this unsure, not just for his mother, but for himself. It was hard to ignore that while he'd been out cold having a vision about the sculptor 2 floors up, Joe was being, well, sculpted. If they really thought you were in danger, or we were in danger, they'd shut the program or shut down the program. Sorry. And send us home. Dan spoke with as much authority as he could muster, desperately hoping Sandy would take him at his word. I suppose that's true. I'm just heartsick thinking of you there. You're with your friends. You're okay? I'm okay. And Abby and Jordan are too. Sort of. I promise. Okay. Well, if you're sure. Hey, while I have you guys on the phone, can I ask you something? Uh-oh. Of course, Danny. Let me just put you on speakerphone. He heard it click, and suddenly it got very loud on the other end. Hi, Dad. What do you need, Danny? Paul asked. Where to start? I just had a question about my family history, I guess. I mean, the stuff before you guys. Stuff from when I was younger. I was looking up some of the history about this place because, the dorm used to be a psych ward and all. And it turns out that the warden here was also named Daniel Crawford. Careful now. I thought that was an interesting coincidence. Do you know if there's any possible relation? Dan, his father said soothingly. I mean, really, do you need us to come get you? We can get on a plane right now and come get you. It's no problem. What? No, that's not what I'm serious. The whole thing doesn't feel right to me. You should come home. You're not, always so good with stuff like this, his father said. It had been a while since Dan had heard him sound so worried. Danny, sweetie, your father's just concerned. We both are. His mom added, do we need to call Dr. Oberst? Oberst? I don't know. If you think this might trigger some sort of episode. But I didn't say anything about wanting to come home. Psych wards and wardens and... What about you, Danny? It doesn't sound like you're taking care of yourself. It was his dad again from the sound of it. He was working himself up into an angry froth. Oh, sorry. Alright. Calm down, Paul. Danny, we're worried about you, that's all. We're just trying to tell if you want to leave. We think that would be good. A good, rational decision. We always knew that this might be too much for you. Look, never mind. Don't call Mr. Doctor. Sorry. Oberst. Don't worry about me. I have to get going. He hung up the phone over the protests. Paul and Sandy had always told him that the most they could give him about his birth parents was non-identifying information, like the fact that they'd been college-educated and healthy and had no other kids. But apparently all he had to do was check a little box saying he didn't want to divulge her identity, and suddenly it took a good reason and court order to get anywhere. Frankly, Dan had never really cared to know who his good-for-nothing parents were. Paul and Sandy were more than great. They had come to feel like family. But suddenly, finding out his history felt like the most important thing in the world. The missing piece in this maddening puzzle, the link between Dan and a ruthless killer. Of all the places he could have ended up this summer, it couldn't be a mistake that he'd chosen this one. Brookline was his destiny. It was in his blood. Let's see, how long is this? Nah, I'm okay. We'll save that for later. Okay. So Iggy's in the tub. I'm going to clean out his cage. I'm going to upload these. What was I going to say? Oh, so there's this game Rob was telling me about. I can't remember if I actually spoke about it at the beginning of this video. It's called Costume Quest. It's this really interesting Halloween game where, well, I don't want to say too much, but you've got to fight monsters and trick or treat, and I just thought it would be interesting to try and play this game and try and beat it before Halloween, and if I can, try and get through as much of the sequel as possible if I have Halloween off, which would be nice. And spend the whole day just playing, like as a live stream or something. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions what I should do, the inspiration for this actually comes from the 13 Nights of Halloween on the ABC Family, or whatever it is now and whatever it was back in the day, because they kept changing its name. So I was thinking starting the 19th, I try and play, and then I got to try and beat the game. I say try a lot. Before Halloween. I'd have like a little gimmick with it or something. I haven't really decided yet, but we'll see what happens. I have a really good idea, I think, and hopefully some of my friends will be free on some of those days, and we can all have some fun. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna play the game regardless, and I'll probably record it regardless. But we'll see if you guys will be interested. Until next time, goodbye, everybody. Also, sorry again for late uploads. I just really had a bad night.